now that Ukraine is ready to acquire F-16s. Opinions on their effectiveness range from being counterproductive for Ukraine to winning the war. While most discussion has focused on air-to-air performance of fighters and platform itself, broader impact of deploying them with right munitions will be a reduction in Russian ground attacks. Neither Ukrainians nor the Russians have air superiority on battlefield. Surface-to-air missiles, or SAM, and air defense artillery provide the majority of air control for both sides. But Ukraine is still too large for SAMs to cover, as most require line of sight and limit maximum ranges at lower altitudes. The fighters' mobility and line of sight make them well suited for defending areas with sparse SAM coverage. Fighters can also avoid enemy SAMs by flying low and attack aircraft doing the same. The aircraft's first mission will likely be to support air defenses by intercepting cruise missiles. Some commentators have highlighted the F-16's ability to deploy cruise missiles and other offensive and interdiction munitions, such as Storm Shadow missiles. As Ukraine gains proficiency with F-16s, the next mission will be to suppress Russian SAMs, a mission more comprehensive than standoff strikes. F-16s are well suited to operate the AGM-88s supplied to Ukraine suppress advanced Russian SAMs. These destroyed Russian SAMs are expensive and unlikely to be replaced quickly. The use of these systems is critical for Ukraine to gain local air superiority and increase the survivability of unmanned aerial vehicles and ground forces in the process. The two announced missions are possible with the initially committed F-16s. Of the approximately 60 F-16s promised, only about a dozen are expected to be delivered early next year. As more arrive, higher impact missions become possible. Initially preferred to fly below the line of sight of Ukrainian SAMs, using DUM-S. Russia has since adapted to using precision. Standoff Glide-S has also used its multi-role aircraft in air-to-ground missions because it encountered little resistance in the air. F-16s could target the latter and force the former into an air-to-air mission. Whether Russia directs its aircraft to air defenses, takes higher risks, or carries out fewer strikes, the result will be that Russia's air-to-ground strikes will be less effective. There will also be downward impacts on Russian operations. For example, Russia spent a large portion of its long-range SAMs for ground attacks. Given the high overlap of SAM, ballistic missile, and air-launched missile components, increasing SAM production for resupply will likely come at the expense of other missile production. This would mean fewer Russian ground attacks against Ukraine. F-16s alone are not enough. They require training, support teams, communications, early warning, improved avionics and ordnance. This infrastructure takes years to develop and is unlikely to be fully deployed during conflict time. Beyond the high pose,